Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and man, I really appreciate you guys coming by the channel to spend some time with me and watch the video. Always appreciate that. And guys, today we're going to be talking about what needs to happen and the person that can emerge in this particular sport to save our sport, because as you all know, the last couple of years, everybody's mad at Bassmaster, everybody's mad at MLF for a variety of different reasons. The sport is in a cluster right now, and we need some major changes in the sport. And I got some advice and some opinions on that I'm going to share with you guys, and I'd like to get your guys' feedback as well. Also, guys, for get started, just a couple quick housekeeping tips. Big thank you out there to everybody that's been using my Tackle Warehouse link to purchase my new Blaukat throwback jigs from Cumberland Pro Lures. That launch has been super successful on that. Everybody else that's been supporting the channel through all the links, big thank you from me and my family. And also, guys, I'd like to invite everybody to please hit that subscribe button here to Intuitive Angling, because guys, right now only 37% of the people that watch these videos are subscribed to the channel. You got 60-some% are not subscribed that are watching the videos. So free and easy, just hit that subscribe button. That's another good way to help out. Okay guys, here's what needs to happen. Here is the individual that needs to emerge that is going to save the sport and take it into the future, in good hands. We have got to have somebody that steps up in the sport and buys Bassmaster and MLF. Somebody that has an appreciation and a wisdom of the heritage and the tradition and the ethics and everything that has made bass fishing great in the sport. Somebody that has a keen interest in competitive fishing, somebody that has a keen interest in the future of the sport without benefiting themselves financially, personally. Somebody that has enough money that they can put into this sport and they don't expect anything in return. All they want to do is to leave it better than it was after they pass on. We need a person like that in this particular sport, and so far nobody has emerged to do that. I'm really surprised that there hasn't been some mega wealthy dude out there purchase and buy both organizations and do what I'm just getting ready to tell you guys right here. So here's what needs to happen. First of all, they need to buy Bassmaster, and they need to buy MLF, and they need to completely clean house and restructure everything about fishing the way that we know it. Get rid of the Bass Pro Tour, get rid of the Toyota Series, keep the BFL tournaments on the Major League Fishing. The BFL tournaments, which were formerly the FLW tournaments, formerly the Operation Bass tournaments, they are the backbone of the sport. They've been around since the early 80s. They're still as strong today as they've ever been. Keep that intact in that situation. And on the Bassmaster side, get rid of the Elite Series, get rid of the Bassmaster Open, and create one tournament circuit on the Bassmaster circuit. It's called the Bassmaster Pro Tour. That is the Pro Tour, because the problem we have is that nobody can define who's a pro and who's not a pro. And this has diminished professional fishing in the eye of the public, is because everybody calls themselves pro anglers. If they win money, they say that I'm a pro angler. We need to have an organization set up that issues a card that shows you're a professional angler. Just like the PBA, you have to have a PBA tour card to participate and be a pro bowler. Same with the PGA, you have to qualify. You have to have a PGA card. Same with football. It's the NFL. You don't have a bunch of these other leagues out there. And we need to have one definitive leader in the sport that says you are a pro angler and you are not a pro angler, and stop trying to mix the two together. And then this is how all this stuff merges together. You got the Bassmaster Pro Tour, which is going to have 200 people in it, and they're going to have 6 tournaments a year, and the Bassmaster Classic, $1,000 entry fee is all. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but a nice, simple, clear-cut deal. We don't have all these side tournaments, this and that. 6 tournaments, Bassmaster Classic, and they take the top 200 to get it started out and to get it seeded. Is they take, first of all, the top 100 money winners on the Bassmaster circuit over the history of the organization. If somebody declines their invitation, just go down the list further, and then you take the next 100 just out of, either a raffle or people signing up to enter the tournaments. That's the way it was when I started out. It's like I started out on the 1985 circuit with Bassmaster by pulling out an ad in Bassmaster magazine that said fish the 1985-86 Bassmaster tournament trail, and that's how I started in it. That gives you the 200 people. The next thing you do is you rename the BFLs. You call it the Bassmaster Weekend Series, something like that, whatever, and continue the same format there. We have different divisions around the country, and at the end of the year, the top 25, just pull out 25 guys, however they finish in the tournaments, or the top 25%, based upon each particular division, and they replace the bottom 25% on the Bassmaster Pro Tour. That's how you get fresh turnover every year. So that makes it nice and simple. We don't have a bunch of competing organizations. It takes it back to the root. And then on top of that, you reduce the entry fee down to $1,000 instead of the ridiculous amount of $5,000 it is right now. And there you help knock away this elitism that has got into professional fishing, where it's an elitist sport. $1,000 for 6 tournaments is affordable for most people out there. They can usually get enough time off of work if they want to fish it. It takes it back to the 1985 era when it was really great out there. And then you put the big money in the Bassmaster Classic qualification. You only take 35 guys out of the 200 of the Bassmaster Classic. There's not these 20 different paths to the Classic. If you win, you're in. All whatever they got there, it's just cut and dried. Top 35 out of the Bassmaster Pro Tour, 200-man fields, go to the Classic. And if you make the Classic, it's well worth it. You get at least $20,000 for last place in the tournament. Make it a big money event. Make it a big event like it used to be back in the mid 80s. And the next thing you do to even further level the playing field is you start having a complete restructure in the equipment that we take. First of all, you reduce the boats that they can use. You're limited to a maximum of a bass boat with 150 horsepower, and you can use as small of a boat as you want to, as long as it's Coast Guard approved. You got an adequate live well, even though live wells need to be replaced by weighing them and releasing them right in the water. That's another story out there. But by capping it at 150 horsepower, you further reduce that trend that we have to make this too of an expensive and elitist sport. And then you limit equipment on there. Each angler is only limited to 6 rod and reels per per boat. They're limited to like 1 or 2 tackle boxes, so therefore you don't have this unfair advantage of some guy that can afford to have 50 rod and reels with him and $6 billion worth of tackle. So you level the tackle playing field. You limit them, obviously, no forward-facing sonar cheater box. They're allowed to have 1 unit on the console that's no more than 12 inches in diameter or 12 inches in width. 1 up front, 1 in the console. No no live scope. Therefore, even equalizing the playing field that much more. And then you take away all the stupid rules that are in place that limit shallow water anglers. If you want to get out there and get in the water and drag your boat across a sandbar, fine, you can do it. If you want to go out there and plant a brush pile and it's legal with the state and federal laws, get out there and plant a brush pile. If you want to, build something on your casting deck where you can look and you can get up higher, 3 or 4 feet higher off the deck, you can do that. Stop kneecapping the creativity and the ingenuity of the anglers out there. And at that point, you've taken the sport back to the fort where it's more affordable to everybody. You've got a clear-cut, definitive definition of who is a pro angler and who is not. And then it just has a long-term sustainability factor that has really gotten out of hand now, because and as far as the industry goes, they don't. If somebody wants to fish recreationally and they want to use the cheater box, let them use the cheater box. If somebody wants a 23-foot bass boat with a 300 horsepower, let them have that. But in pro tournament competition, it's supposed to be tougher. You're supposed to be the best of the best, and you have to operate under certain equipment limitations that the general public doesn't have to. Because then, if it's hard, they admire a pro, and they can see why somebody's a pro, because they have limitations on everything, and they have to make the best out of those limitations. So anyway, that's just a few thoughts off the top of my head. There's probably a lot more, but it's hard to remember when I'm sitting here in the truck that I don't got any air conditioning in. It's at 95 degrees out here. So but anyway, you get the gist of it, guys, the gist of the video. Let me know what you guys think about it, what your ideas are, and we'll talk later.